two people could eat the same exact meal plan and their body response could be completely different. Welcome to Cravings Control for Fat Loss. I'm your host, Laura Cavallo, former sugar binger, overeater, and yo-yo dieter turned fat loss and cravings coach for hundreds of busy women. Here at Cravings Control for Fat Loss, I'll be sharing mindset, movement, and metabolism strategies for those who are ready to ditch the fat diet cycle and slim down without counting calories, tracking points, or giving up any of the foods they love. Get ready to embrace progress over perfection, grace over guilt, and bring curiosity and learning to the inevitable ups and downs of your life. Expect a decrease in your cravings while seeing and feeling an improvement in how you look, how you feel, and your overall quality of life. I am so excited you're here, boo. Let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Cravings Control for Fat Loss. My name is Laura Cavallo, your cravings and fat loss coach. And today we are talking about 5 reasons why a meal plan does not work for cravings control and sustainable fat loss, and what to do instead. I wanted to chat about this because I thought it was an important conversation to have, because so many people believe that all they need is to find the right meal plan, and once that happens, all of their problems will go away. And I'm looking at myself here. I felt exactly like this for over 5 years. And I thought that jumping to the next best diet on the market was what was going to help me finally get a handle on my cravings, finally have the look and the feel that I wanted in my body, and was going to be the ultimate solution. And every time I made a mistake in one of these diets, or I gave up, or I failed, or I didn't see results, I would just go looking for the next thing. And you would think that that would be like a sign, like, oh, Laura, this is like your 8th nutrition meal plan diet thing that you've been doing. It hasn't been working. Maybe we should try something else that's not a diet plan. But the attraction to these meal plans made sense for me. And maybe if you're someone that has done things like Whole30 or Weight Watchers, or even like some sort of keto or paleo diet plan, or has gotten a 30-day diet plan from a nutritionist or a coach. And my attraction to these meal plans made sense. And maybe you feel similar. I liked being told what to do. I liked someone telling me exactly what to eat, the amounts, when, and I liked not having to think about anything. And it started with the body ecology diet, and then I went to the clean diet, and then I went to the paleo diet, and then I did a keto diet, and then I went to macros. And all these diet plans gave me exactly what I wanted. I wanted routine. I wanted structure. I wanted someone else having to figure it out for me. But it was this autopilot approach to eating that actually made cravings control and fat loss much harder to achieve and much harder to maintain. And maybe you have also experienced the same thing. I had zero awareness. I had zero ownership over my habits and my actions. There was zero self-efficacy, and there was zero learning being done along the way. It was a very passive approach and a very passive experience, and I was just along for the ride. So I want you to think back to diet plans or meal plans that you followed, or recipe guides, and what was your experience like with those? Did you feel like you were on autopilot? Did you feel like you really were just going through the motions and having not much awareness? What parts of them did help you? What parts of them did you feel like didn't work for you? So I know for myself, when I finally ditched the diet and I created Satisfull Nutrition, it really meant learning how to create consistently satisful plates anywhere I went, anytime. Right? I didn't have to rely on a meal plan to tell me what to eat or how to eat. And I didn't have to feel stressed about having to follow a meal plan when I was maybe traveling or going out to a restaurant. Satisfull Nutrition also meant that I could eat on the 80-20 continuum, which meant less all or nothing thinking. I didn't have to feel guilty for possibly indulging a little bit more. I could mentally detach from the idea of good and bad foods with Satisfull Nutrition. And it taught me how to actually lean into my cravings with strategies that actually worked instead of feeling frustrated or guilty that I was actually having cravings, right? And when I began eating Satisfull and I started applying it and I started learning how to develop the eating skills in all scenarios, I had much more success with my cravings, and I actually began losing weight and I began losing inches, and I was not restricting and I was not eliminating and I was not counting, and no one was telling me what to eat or how to eat or when. It's so interesting how the more control we try to have over our diet, with knowing the exact macro number, knowing exactly what foods to eat, controlling every single bite and portion, we actually end up feeling more out of control. And, I have proven with Satisfull Nutrition, not just with myself, but with the hundreds and hundreds of women that have adopted this approach, how it's actually having more flexibility with your diet that helps you feel more confident and control with your choices. But of course, that comes after you stabilize cravings, after you stabilize hunger, after you learn to stop self-sabotaging and living in the black and white. So as I mentioned, this Satisfull Nutrition approach wasn't just eye-opening for myself, but it began reaping incredible results for my clients. And what we saw on average, clients were losing up to 10 pounds and 10 inches in 3 months' time without having to count, track, or measure any of their food. Now, of course, the approach for each individual definitely had some personalization to it, right? Maybe some clients needed a little bit more focus on eating out, or some need a little bit more focus on craving strategies, or some need a little bit more focus on mindset. But the foundations of Satisfull Nutrition remain the same. Inevitably, however, despite sharing all of the successes of my clients and their ability to adopt Satisfull Nutrition and eat the same way they do on a Monday as they did on a Saturday, I still had clients reaching out and asking if I would make a meal plan for them. And I would then go through the reasons why we don't assign one. So today I thought it would be helpful to share the top 5 reasons why I don't assign meal plans, and also give you an alternative to consider, which is Satisfull Nutrition. So the first reason I don't assign meal plans at Laura Cavallo Coaching is because a meal plan is not personalized to your preferences, your access to food, your availability, your schedule, just to name a few. A meal plan assumes that everyone likes the same thing, eats the same thing, eats at the same times, and has access to the same foods, which is not true. And when you take these things into consideration, right, these factors that make your life and you unique, this is how you're actually able to keep up with the habits and maintain your habits all day, all week, and all year long. Ultimately, your nutrition protocol has to work for you within your lifestyle. I'm going to give you an example. I am a single career woman who works from home, and I do not have children. If I was going to make a meal plan that worked for me, it would probably not work for, let's say, a mom that has 4 kids. Maybe she's a single mom, or she has someone at home, and she goes to an office every single day, right? So it would make sense that a plan that I create for myself probably isn't going to work for a single mom of 4 that goes to the office every day. So why would I assign a meal plan to a client who has 4 kids the same way that I would assign that meal plan to a 20-something-year-old that has 3 hours to work out in the gym and 3 hours to cook her meals, right? So finding a nutritional approach that can mold to your life and you can make your own is how you're going to be successful, versus trying to force your life to fit into a diet. I also want to make note of the fact that two people could eat the same exact meal plan and their body response could be completely different. Just because we eat the same does not mean that we're going to have the same aesthetic look, that we're going to have the same response to food, that we're going to like the same things. So assuming that I can give someone a meal plan and it's going to elicit the same response for everyone is bad coaching. That is not helpful. That is not going to get you lasting results. And so I saw these struggles with myself, with my clients, and I see this within the industry over and over. And that's why I knew that I had to create a nutrition approach that could be moldable and flexible and go with you anywhere, anytime, all year long. One that suits your life, your priorities, your schedule, your access to food, but it can still control cravings and support a healthy metabolism. And that is what Satisfull Nutrition provides for you. The second reason why a meal plan may not work for cravings control and sustainable fat loss for you is because with a meal plan, you are told what to eat versus focusing on what you want to eat. And this feature of a meal plan can make these meals less satisfying and can make it less enjoyable for you. And this is one of the reasons why people end up craving and overeating later, because that satisfaction factor is lacking in some of these meal plans. And so afterwards, you go looking for a way to satisfy that craving, to make you feel like you actually enjoyed what you ate. So I want you to picture this. Imagine being assigned a dinner of chicken breast, broccoli, and rice with some salt, pepper, and some lemon juice on it, okay? But what you prefer is like dark meat chicken or even beef. You want some bread instead of rice, and you don't really like broccoli. Like you want some string beans, right? So you go ahead and you eat the chicken breast and the broccoli and the rice, but you don't feel satisfied. And an hour later, you're like, oh, that meal, it just was not that good. I'm looking for something else. So in turn, you go out and you end up eating more food, right? Because you're looking to satisfy that craving. And maybe that snack or that meal an hour later is causing you to go over your calories. But what if you had just subbed out the chicken breast for dark meat chicken, the bread for the rice, and the green beans for the broccoli, and you felt more satisfied at that meal and it prevented you from going out and eating more food later? Do you see how making your meals satisfying then and there in the moment can actually help you stay more consistent with your nutrition and avoid the overeating and the cravings later? So that's just a very straightforward, basic example, but we can apply this to anything that happens in your day-to-day, right? Think of a meal that maybe you don't enjoy that much. You don't feel as satisfied. You might go looking for something to eat afterwards. So another element to this is that don't forget that you're a human being and you deserve to enjoy the foods that you eat. Yes, even in the name of fat loss. Yes, even if you're trying to maintain your weight. Food isn't just fuel. Food isn't just a way to shape a body. It's part of celebration. It's how we mourn things. It's how we celebrate and have fun and share in remembrance and joy with the people we love. It provides a cultural connection to our history. It provides comfort and soothing. We cannot take the human satisfaction element out of eating, no matter how hard you try. Maybe there's a small percentage of people out there that can be fine, eating their chicken and broccoli and rice and just being on autopilot and not really enjoying the foods that they are eating. But for most of us, we're like, well, I don't really want to live like that, right? So a meal plan can oftentimes take that satisfaction factor out of eating because you are just told what to eat versus really asking yourself, is this something I'm going to enjoy? Is this something I want? So that is a major challenge when it comes to meal plans. And that is why Satisfull Nutrition is so special, is because it prioritizes these nutrient-dense whole foods, lean and detox foods, which are protein and fiber-rich foods to help us feel full, satisfied, control cravings, shape a strong and slim body. But then we get to add in the foods that we enjoy. We get to add in that satisfaction factor. We get to enjoy the foods that we are eating. You deserve that. We're not taking that away from you. There's no reason to. Overeating and giving into every craving for sugar, salt, and alcohol could be bogging down your metabolism and making it harder for you to reach your fat loss goals, not to mention making cravings, hunger, and a tendency to overeat more likely. If you're a busy woman who wants to finally get a handle on cravings and stop the cycle of overeating, then undereating, I want to invite you to add your name to the waitlist for the Cravings Code, which is my signature program designed to help you reduce cravings, hunger, and overeating by up to 70% and prime your metabolism to naturally eat fewer calories and sustainably lose weight. Here's what graduates of the Cravings Code have shared about their experience in the program. Trisha shares, the methods I have tried have always been pretty restrictive calorie-wise. So my mindset has always been, I just need to do this really hard thing and then I can go back to eating quote unquote normal. The Cravings Code has very much made me feel like I have a new normal, and the strategies I've learned along the way have helped me to look and feel my best. Katie shares, I love the accountability and sharing throughout the program. I think this worked even better than a one-on-one process for me, knowing others are going through the same thing. Lisa shares, my mindset and cravings have improved greatly. Not only can I eat what I want, I have learned to separate my negativity from my food choices. I don't have any guilt or shame when I crave something sweet. I have learned to use the tools to help me be successful. So there you have it. If these are the types of results you want, go to the resource link below and add your name to the waitlist. The second round of the program launches early 2024. By putting your name on the waitlist, you get an exclusive opportunity to enroll early at a discounted rate. After you add your name, you'll get an email with next steps. I can't wait to work with you in 2024. So the third reason why a meal plan doesn't work for cravings control and fat loss is because oftentimes following a meal plan in this fashion can perpetuate the all or nothing dieting mindset. Because oftentimes, especially as humans, when we're told that we can only eat this and not that, then we start to feel guilty, stressed, and ashamed when we start to crave the very foods that we're not supposed to eat, right? When we start to eat or crave what's outside of the assigned foods, we might start to feel wrong or like we're doing something bad. We don't want our food to cause us stress or negative emotions. Why should they? Why are we putting ourselves through this? We want our nutritional experience to be pleasant. We want to bring mindfulness and awareness and enjoyment and nourishment to our meals, not negative emotions. And, the all or nothing dieting mindset is what leads to self-sabotage. It's what leads to the fuck it mentality. It's what leads to restriction and then overeating and the constant cycle. That is not going to help you control cravings, get to your fat loss goals, and create a metabolism that is healthy and flexible. And so over the last few years, since becoming a certified mindset coach, I have been able to provide strategy to clients to help them move away from the all or nothing dieting mindset, to reduce self-sabotage, to bring more grace and curiosity to the process versus frustration, guilt, and shame. One concept that we use at Laura Cavallo Coaching is called the 80-20 continuum. This is a way to approach a meal, a day, or a weekend of eating with more flexibility and grace versus that self-sabotaging mentality. So the fourth reason why a meal plan does not work for cravings control and sustainable fat loss is because meal plans don't provide any individual cravings, hunger, and overeating strategies like we do at Laura Cavallo Coaching. If they do, they might mention things like, make sure you're eating enough protein. Make sure you just have water if you notice a craving coming on. If you really like sweets, just don't keep them in the house. Or my favorite one, just have a small bite of it and don't eat the whole thing. Well, if it was that easy, we wouldn't all be struggling with cravings and overeating, right? But it's not that straightforward, right? We know cravings are more complex than that. And yes, protein can definitely help satiate you and reduce cravings. Yes, having water and reducing dehydration can help subdue cravings. Yes, not having them in the house can possibly help you eat less of them in the moment. But are these long-term fixes or are these band-aid fixes for your cravings? Because I'm sure we've all tried that stuff, right? Maybe not eating more protein or, right? But like maybe we've had like, I'm just going to chug water, just not going to buy it. Then we end up overeating more later. And so when it comes to individual cravings, hunger, and overeating strategies, we need to start to focus our attention on viewing cravings not as bad or wrong or that something is wrong with us, but rather trying to understand why cravings are happening and work with them. And when you start to get more curious around cravings instead of feeling the shame and guilt, this is when you start to develop more space within your mental bandwidth to actually apply different craving strategies, to get curious why cravings are happening and come up with solutions instead of feeling frustrated. So, some craving strategies that we share in the cravings code and with our clients is sip slow, crave and go, small sweets, leave a little. And these are all strategies that can be pulled out of your back pocket anytime, any day, anywhere you are. They're super applicable and they don't take a lot of time, energy, or mental bandwidth. And so we really do pride ourselves on being able to provide that individualized craving support with Satisfull Nutrition, which is the bedrock of the cravings code. And so the fifth reason why a meal plan does not work for cravings control and sustainable fat loss is because a meal plan is only as good as it lasts. If you get a 30-day meal plan, what do you do on day 31? What do you do on day 45? Do you just repeat the program again? What type of life is that, right? What have you actually learned about what you like in those 30 days? How to eat? Or have you learned what foods are best for you, right? Or did you just go through the motions? Now, I'm not saying that a meal plan does not provide any benefit whatsoever, but we can oftentimes become so reliant on it that at day 31, we're just like, well, I don't know what to do. And you go back to eating just how you were before because you haven't actually learned anything during that time. So at Laura Cavallo Coaching, it's our mission to teach you how to eat for the rest of your life through Satisfull Nutrition. Okay. This is an approach that has many benefits, which you've already heard me share. But Satisfull Nutrition is a way that helps keep cravings and hunger stable. You can take it with you anywhere, anytime you go, and you can apply it all year long, even around the holiday season. Satisfull Nutrition is what's going to help keep your metabolism healthy and happy. It's going to support your weight maintenance for most of the year and then those periods of fat loss when you decide to go into a fat loss phase. Satisfull Nutrition is preferred because it's not restrictive, but rather it's more flexible, right? And that's how we feel more in control. That's how we feel more confident, right? We tried the restrictive protocols. We felt less in control. Now it's time to try the flexible approach. Satisfull Nutrition does not require a special grocery list. You don't have to buy clean ingredients. You don't have to buy expensive things. You don't need a meal plan and you don't need a meal guide either. This is a system that has allowed my clients to have incredible results, not just fat loss results and weight loss results, as you heard me share, up to 10 pounds and 10 inches lost in 3 months' time without counting, tracking, or measuring. But above this, my clients' relationships with food and their bodies and dieting has changed 180 degrees. They have developed a healthier relationship with food, no more all or nothing dieting, no more self-sabotage, more understanding around their cravings, less overeating, less binges, less shame, less guilt, more freedom, more ease, and just a very intuitive way of eating. And it's very natural. It's very normal. It flows with your life. And so these are the 5 reasons why I believe a meal plan does not work for cravings control and sustainable fat loss, as exemplified by myself and the many women that I've worked with that have shared their meal plan experiences. And as you can see with Satisfull Nutrition, you're going to have better, longer lasting, and less stressful results when you adopt this type of approach. And so I know that this sounds too good to be true, right? And if we haven't worked together yet, and you haven't taken one of my courses, or you haven't downloaded any of my free resources, then I know it might sound like a little crazy. Like, what do you mean Satisfull Nutrition? I just like eat what I want, but I'm not taking anything out. Like, I don't get it. But this is what has really, truly transformed my clients' lives, and I want to share it with you. Satisfull Nutrition is the basis for the Cravings Code, okay? It forms the bedrock for the strategies and tools that I teach you within the Cravings Code program, which is my 6-week one-on-one coaching program to help you reduce cravings, hunger, and overeating by up to 70%. As a result, it's going to prime your mindset and prime your metabolism for sustainable fat loss by helping you naturally eat less. This program is going to launch again in 2024, early 2024, and I want to invite you to add your name to the waitlist, which is linked below, so you can get early access when the program opens. You know, I am always available for questions. I am always available if you want to share what you're going through, your challenges, your struggles, and your successes. Do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions about meal plans, if you have any questions about Satisfull Nutrition or the Cravings Code program. Click the link below, follow me on Instagram, say hi, drop a hello, send me a DM, and get on the waitlist for the Cravings Code. Click below. I cannot wait to see you there. Talk to you soon.